Hello, my name is Dale DuFay. I'm doing the narration for this video that Mary captured here in, you can see on the top, Nova Scotia, Canada, Sea Cottages. And that the date is July 27th, 2021. And sunset, obviously. And we speeded this up about 6.5 times. But by speeding it up, you can clearly see that there's a counterclockwise rotation here on this spot in front of the sun. Now, really, the question is, what is this? Now, you don't see it all the time, but sometimes she'll capture it on these live webcams. And we firmly believe that these are evidence of artificial suns, which there's plenty of patents out there that they do make them. They do exist, and they are boasted. Here's where it is. But there's many patents and many articles out there. The Chinese have the best one yet, but they never really talk about the time when they deploy them, and they obviously put them in the proper orbit. And the real sun's behind here, and you can see how they juice up the sky so it's just real blurry. So you can and that helps, because if you saw the real sun behind that satellite sun, you would see two suns, and sometimes people do, but this is what we clearly think is a artificial sun. For some reason, I don't know why they're deploying it here. It seems to be in the northern hemispheres. She spots it a lot and usually you could see a reflection on the water. You could actually see the dot in the water too, the reflection. But it's just a little bit too glary, and the angle's not correct, so it doesn't show up in this case. But that still doesn't hide the fact that this artifact here is obviously artificial. Now it's not part of the camera or anything, because it follows the dead center of the sun, and it also goes behind the sun, as you'll see later in the video, because as it sets, it goes behind the clouds and then peeps through the clouds again, which proves that it's actually there. If it was part of the camera, interaction with the clouds would not obscure it, the camera artifact. So we know that this is actually up there. And if you speed it up real quick, you could actually see the rotation. And when you see the reflections in some cases, which she has picked up many times, sometimes on water, sometimes on a metal roof or something, on a car, windshield, things like that. You can see the reflection, but this one you can't. But when you do, you could see the reflection, actually the rotation of this. It's actually, if you look at the pattern, see there, it's blocking, going behind the sun, and then peers back out. Now that wouldn't occur if that was a camera artifact. But again, when you see them on the glare, the rotation is clockwise, which is really interesting, which would make sense because of the reflection. But it's actually, you can see it turning clockwise. But if you look at the patents and designs and things of these artificial suns that have been around for a long time, like I say, they are out there. There's proof. But yet you'll never hear about them deploying them, because then people would be asking why. And of course, their excuse for making them in the first place is to, lengthen the growing seasons and things like that in the future and whatnot. And the one that Chinese are building, they say that it's for clean energy, empowering, things like that. But the things, you could make 5 trips up with a decent enough cargo in a rocket and get the pieces up there and assemble these things. Because, the question really is, why are they doing it? Are they experimenting with them? Are they trying to protect us? Are they hiding something? I believe they're hiding a lot. See that huge glare around there? It's almost like having a flashlight against a piece of paper, and you can see how it glares. And that's exactly what they do when they juice up the sky there. It just causes this huge blur. And I'm sure it looks just like that with the people standing here. You can see how dark it is too on the ground. Because these artificial suns only give off light, and put nothing near what the real one does. But the heat you're still going to feel the heat from the real one. Because again, this is just a satellite, and it's making a perfect orbit to simulate the sun's orbit. Of course, it's the Earth orbiting the sun, of course, but they have to deploy and orbit the Earth with these artificial suns to mimic the sun. It's as it crosses the sky and as it rises and sets. So that must take a lot of think of what that takes for them to do it. But they're obviously doing it. This is evidence. That's what I like doing narration on Mary Hall's videos, because she captures things that are very obvious. This is very obvious, And as I was getting at before, if you happen to run across, I used to do a lot of research on this, and I since studying other things that I feel is more important, like the Mandela effect, is the top thing I spend most of the time on. But there's no proof with that. And here, there's proof right here, and that's what's enjoyable about doing Mary Hall's videos. But again, when you see the construction of these things, they do all have a center hub, and maybe I can flash up some pictures of it during the video here. But you could see this. They always have this center hub, and this is the back of it as we see it, and the energy shoots towards the reflectors. They have basically if you look at the design, it's nothing but solar panels all the way around, and this object sticks out beyond it several meters, I think, and then shoots the energy into to cause the reflection. And that's why when you see one, if it's not that obscure, it'll never be a full, a real circle, because those things are opaque, they're irregular. So that's the important thing, is for them to juice up the sky so we can't see how, it's not a perfect circle, the artificial one, and also not see the real one. But it's incredible, engineering and technology, and it's being deployed. So the big question is why, Again, I used to study it myself quite a bit, and believe that they've been doing this, and why, it's again, you can't see the reflection on the water. And look at it, I still can't get over how dark it is. Of course, it's getting late there. It's 7 going on 7 after 7 o'clock p.m. their time. This is, I think this is the east, further east than our Eastern time, the next time zone over. But it's interesting how you can't see the reflection. It has to have something to do with the angle, certainly, but usually you can see the reflection of this artifact that's there. The camera's picking it up. You can't see it with the naked eye, again, because everything's so blurry. But the camera does pick this up, and you could definitely see that in that. I'll run some close-ups in and show the actual rotation, speeding it up. You can see it goes counterclockwise. But again, that's the armature that shoots the energy to the shields, the solar panels. Because these satellites are pretty huge, but not anything to, But from our vantage point and them juicing up the sky with the airplane clouds, it does a pretty good job of hiding, whatever. Personally, I think they're trying to hide something. What, I don't know. Things happening in our solar system, perhaps. So anyway, I don't want to even get into that. We'll just, this is basically, see how it's going behind the clouds now? See, so that's proof that that's not from the camera. That's proof that is actually something the camera's picking up. It's not our sun. See, the reflection's dimming too because of the cloud cover. See it coming out? And I looked real close to see if I could find it in the glare in the reflection in the water, and I simply can't. But it is definitely there. We don't need the reflection to prove it. Again, it has something to do with the angle and where exactly that it's deployed. And they obviously, and that's why everyone's not going to see it. It's important to realize that. Not everyone's going to see it. So, that's because they're satellites and they're only deployed where needed. I've never seen one myself. Every time I look at the sun here in southwest Michigan, it's always right there, So, thank you for watching, and please subscribe to Mary Hall's channel, and we'll talk at you later.